I'm Richard Boatman, and this is 3-Minute Manna. I used to have an electric train when I was a kid, and sometimes it would get off track. It would still move because it was getting current, but it moved slowly and with a lot of friction and sometimes some screeching. Sometimes our lives can feel that way, where we're getting a connection from God, but we feel like we're out of alignment, and so there's a lot of friction in our movement. Let me ask you a question. How much of what you do each day would you say is life-giving? It infuses you with life. And how much is life depleting? In the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 15, God has just placed Adam in the garden. And he tells him to tend it and to keep it. Now, it's interesting. That's a word, the Hebrew verb avad. And it means to work, serve, worship. So God is calling Adam to worshipful work. That may be a picture of what heaven will be like, where we worship God. It is a place of amazing glory, but it may very well be a place of worshipful work, of activity. Perhaps we're called to tend the cosmos, if you will. So it was life-giving. It was work. And just like Jesus would sometimes get tired, but he was sinless. So Adam, I'm sure, would get tired, but it was life-giving work. It was worshipful work. Now compare that to Genesis chapter 3, verse 17, after the fall, after sin has entered the world. Now the ground will come forth only by the sweat of your brow, only, God says, by painful toil. That's life depleting. Jesus said, I only do that which I see the Father do. I only say that which I hear the Father say. That's a rhythm of life that I think he's calling us to. He said, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. You remember in Luke chapter 5, when Peter and his fishing companions had fished all night, Jesus said, hey, I want to use your boat. And he taught from it. And then he said, now, cast out into the deep for a great catch of fish. And Peter said, Lord, we have toiled all night. We're exhausted. Nevertheless, your word will do it. So they did it. And they caught a net-breaking, boat-sinking load of fish. Notice what happens. When they toiled in their own strength, it was life-depleting. But when they followed the voice of the Master, it was life-giving. And the ratio of energy output to productivity completely reversed. That's what I think we're being called to. That's what we're to grow into. Living a life that is filled with God's infusion of his presence versus a life filled with it being depleted by operating outside of his word and will. Remember, be God aware, be God attentive, and be God aligned. Go with God, and God will go with you.